Let's welcome the man that needs no introduction. The great Bill Goldberg comes to us on the podcast straight from a wine cellar on the beaches of San Diego, I think. Is that right, Bill?
You sound about as comfortable as I do with this podcast thing.
You're right. It's always, isn't it weird, like the intros and stuff? I did yours on a couple of days ago for anyone who doesn't know, and it's like the intro is always weird to me. Like, I don't know what to do there.
Dude, you feel like that guy introducing, the teams, or you feel like the guy introducing the combatants in a fight. It's not me, dude. It's like, hand me the mic and let me talk into it. Just don't let me hold it and be in control of stuff. So
it's true. It's like the starting out, like whatever. Just get to the talking. That's the cool thing about podcasts. You don't have to do whatever. Like it's up to us, whatever we want. So the more we do it, the better we'll be, man. And yours is great. It's called Who's Next with Goldberg. I went on there as a guest a couple of days ago for anyone that wants to check it out. Tell us a little bit about that whole situation, how your podcast even came about, and how you're liking it.
It's kind of like you, dude. Like I say, I grew up wanting to be a pro football player. That was my dream. And I was lucky enough to attain that goal, even though I sucked and I was on the sidelines most of the time, but I was there. And through my travels of playing football and my reinvention, to the wrestling world, I've been able to do some pretty cool shit, man. Pardon my French. But from drinking out of the Stanley Cup with the New Jersey Devils to, being on movie sets and, all kind of different stuff. So at the end of the day, Austin and Jericho and a number of other people had these podcasts, and somebody approached me about doing it. And I wanted to, the thing with mine was I wanted to do a total different departure from everybody else's stuff, because I wanted to talk about stuff that I liked, not just wrestling. I'm very lucky I was able to attain a huge following in the wrestling business, and they all want wrestling. But I want to talk to guys like you. I want to talk to the Tony Stewarts of the world. I want to talk to the Deion Sanders of the world. I want to talk to RG3. I want to talk to, Daughtry. I want to talk to everybody, man. I mean, there's a lot out there in the world other than pro wrestling. And so my podcast is just basically a conversation between myself and one of my buddies, man. And I consider you a good friend after, the podcast experience that we had together. I mean, it's just, at the end of the day, it's two guys just shooting the breeze, man. That's all it is. And that's how I wanted to do it. It's just like my book. I didn't want a ghostwriter writing my book in different words, and so people couldn't really understand. It was like an interview from someone else and not me. So I just wanted to talk on the phone, and at the end of the day, if the only thing I get out of it is that I can reconnect and connect with guys like you, then it's awesome. And check this out, dude. Look at this.
Yeah. You talk about a big time.
We're talking about a podcast.
When you've officially made it, you're sitting recording a podcast, and you're having someone deliver you dinner in a wine cellar on the beach. I think you've made it, Goldberg.
No, man. I just have a brother who takes great care of me, and I wanted to follow in his footsteps, man. And I never was able to attain it in the restaurant business, and so now I have to bilk off of him.
That's the best. It's like you don't want to be the guy that owns the boat. You want your buddy to own the boat, and you just go and party for 3 days and then leave it a wreck and let him pay for it, clean it up.
Clean up, no insurance issues, you're all good.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, for people listen to this on the audio version too, so just to give him a heads up, Goldberg's sitting in a wine cellar and just got some dinner delivered to him. He's in the King of Beers, Budweiser. That's the best. I'm glad you're drinking the King on here. That's a good thing. Looking for some sponsorship opportunity from those guys if they want to give me a call over at Budweiser. Just let them know. But
Great idea. AJ, hold on 1 second. We got the birthday boy, man.
Your brother?
My brother jumping in.
You younger or older?
Hey, man, you go to hell for that. He's 16 years older than I am.
It's a very choppy feed here, Goldberg.
Yeah, well, I guess. Well, thanks, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for letting me steal your brother away for a little bit to do this, man. People love that guy. Obviously,
I love him. It's work, but not so tough in the wine cellar. Here, wait, hold on. Where are we? Oh, Costa Brown, 2012 Russian River Pinot.
Yes.
They should be one of your new sponsors.
Yeah. So this is your restaurant, your brother's restaurant?
It is. Yes.
And you're in San Diego. What's the name of it?
It's called Pacific Coast Grill. It's in Cardiff, right on the beach. You should see today. He should take this out there. It
I
is
will.
such
I
an
will. I'll take it
unbelievable.
out.
We've seen in the last hour. I've seen 20 whales
Really?
and kite surfers and surfers. It's.
It's a
I don't
far
want to give this.
departure from Green Bay, man.
I don't want to give this away, man. I don't want to give this away, but man, and my young son, 9-year-old son, is wearing his Green Bay jersey right now on the beach playing catch.
Really? Man, that's amazing. That's what a small world we live in, isn't it?
It is. Well, he's a small guy, but yes, he's. I won't tell you it's Aaron Rodgers' jersey, but
That's
Aaron
fine.
down the street in Del Mar, so you know.
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, it's the right team. I love it, man. Good for him. Tell him the Packers, we appreciate the support.
Yeah, well, good job for you, man.
Thank you.
Football guys, it's kind of our family, but.
Yeah, I know you grew up with this monster sitting down there. I can't imagine what it was like when you saw him go take the ring for the square circle, as all your guys call him.
To follow in his footsteps. One of the good stories is, people ask me what I wanted to do when I was a kid. Well, I always wanted to grow up and be like my brothers. Both my brothers played at the University of Minnesota, and I'll fast forward between all the BS, but there's a good story about him being at the Raiders during training camp, and he was a kicker at the time. And
Well, I'm going to qualify that. I was a kicker. I was a linebacker.
by default.
Linebacker and a kicker in college, but I got hurt, but I could still kick. So I couldn't kick ass, but I mean, you know what I mean?
Hey, the more you can do.
Story short, in the old Goldberg tradition, they came to knock on the door, and he always thought that they were going to try to cut him, so he hides under the bed so they can't find him, so they can't cut him.
That's a good move. Survival.
Yeah.
Hey, I like it.
Tactics.
It's not a bad move, man. I respect the move. It's a good deal. You got to hang on as long as you can, for sure.
One more day, man.
That's right.
If I was invisible, I'd still be in the league.
I wish I had known that you shouldn't sign the injury waiver, but I thought, well, it'll give me a chance with someone else. They'll get mad at me.
Yeah, there's a million little things like that you pick up over the time. You're right. There is, man. That's I'm sure when you played too, there's a bunch of different. The vets are a little different than they are now, and just a different world for sure. The whole football landscape. I guarantee you that.
Dude, there were suspension helmets and people with no face mask when he played.
I knew. We didn't have the leather helmets, but our dad actually played. Our dad played at Harvard.
Jeez.
Played at Harvard on a scholarship, actually from Johns Hopkins, and then they moved him there because he was in the Navy in the Second World War, and he had no face mask. So we started out with that, and they gave him the first face mask because he broke his nose.
People probably called him soft too. Like when you first got to wear a face mask, people all thought he was like it's like when hockey guys started wearing helmets. Probably, I love seeing the old school hockey dudes with no helmet. Just, oh man, I love it. That's one of my favorites.
You're too young for that, though.
Well, I still see it. I have YouTube, Goldberg. I can check the clips out.
Where are you from, man? Originally?
I'm from Ohio. That's where I'm at right now, but I'm from Centerville, Ohio. My shirt, actually, I don't know if you see my shirt, Centerville Elks. That's my high school squad.
Well, I will listen.
I'm in Columbus, Ohio. That's where I live now, though.
You ever see the movie Goodbye Columbus?
I have not. No. Should I?
It was a classic movie in its day, and it's way dated. But at the time, Ollie McGraw was she was unbelievably sexy, and it was amazing. So you should see that. It still translates to today.
Okay, it holds up. All right, I'll have to check it out. I have not seen that. You're right. All right.
The more of these you have when you watch it, the better it is.
Get it better, the good. Well, I think it probably goes with most movies, Goldberg.
Yes, sir. Shoot, man, go for it.
Oh no, you were saying
first. I don't have to ask you the questions. It's awesome because I don't have to prep. I don't have to look online about stories about AJ Hawk. I don't have to look at videos of past interviews. I don't have to do any of that crap. Now it's your turn.
I know. Well, you touched on something there when you said a second ago how your podcast. You're like, I want people to know that it's not just all wrestling. I don't want to sit there and talk to wrestlers and go like all that stuff. How would I word the question to say, how do the diehard wrestling fans feel about that when they hear you're starting a podcast and then if they hear you're not talking much about wrestling?
Dude, the diehard wrestling fans' opinion about that is the same opinion that the diehard wrestling fans have about Goldberg. I mean, I'm a football player who got into the business, for the financial gain, not because of my passion for it, because I grew up, at 5 years old wanting to jump off a building, being, King Kong, whoever the hell it is. But I had a great appreciation for it, but it's a totally different deal, man. I'm a football player.
I know, yeah, I know. We're D lineman at Georgia. You're a monster and played in the league too for a while. So, was that something when you walked into wrestling? Was that like a whole deal that people think, oh, this big time guy? This guy thinks he's big time.
There was a lot of weird stuff, man. Here, this one's full.
Oh,
there's many empties around here.
Thank you.
There was a lot of stuff to deal with, man. I mean, for me, the hardest transition, the hardest thing that I had to get over was looking myself in the mirror and understanding that you just came off of, the pro football field where, though you didn't play much, people garner that as one of the most violent sports humanly possible. That was a goal that I luckily attained. Then you consider yourself wearing your underwear in front of millions of people and acting like you're going to punch a guy. So, I mean, it took a long time for me to come to grips with that. It's a weird deal, man.
Did you ever get like comfortable in that whole role as a wrestler?
Did I get comfortable?
Yeah, felt like this is good. This is what I was not meant to do. Obviously, you're a football guy, but
when you walk off the field after the game, win or lose, and you got a kid that loves AJ Hawk or loves the Green Bay Packers, and he reaches his hand out and he wants to touch you, or he wants your wristband, or he wants something. How does that make you feel?
Great.
So yes, it made me feel great at the time. I embraced it as a character, as the eternal good guy. Pardon me. It wasn't competition based, so I couldn't look at myself I couldn't look at myself in a positive light that I attained something based upon a competition. But I was able to do something, that not everybody could do. And so I did embrace it, but I never really embraced it like I did, a helmet.
Wasn't that weird the first time you came out and you actually wrestled for real, just being like in your gear, you had like your little Speedos deal and no shirt, like wasn't that just awkward?
It sucked, dude. I thought everybody in the world was watching me, and they were.
Did you get to pick out your whatever you want to call it, get up?
Dude, I mean, I'm not going to say that I was for the Speedos, but I wanted to be the Mike Tyson of wrestling. Black trunks, black tights, black boots, black gloves. Don't talk, just beat people up and leave.
How many years were you in wrestling?
Way too many. I think cumulatively between the times I was hurt, it was probably like 6 years, 7 years.
That's for the impact you had. It's super quick. You got in there, and from the jump, obviously, were huge because it's just a big.
I was there at the right time, at the right place at the right time, man. I mean, you had WWE and WCW going head to head. You had Turner with WCW and the huge magnet, the huge entity that that Time Warner had built up to, and then you had. Monday Night Football changed time slots because of us, dude. Because we were kicking their ass 8 o'clock on Monday nights in the ratings. They had to do something. They brought Dennis Miller in to try to steal the crowd from us. It was a great time. It was. I was very lucky. I wasn't one of those guys who had to. I was very fortunate. I didn't have to be on the road 300 days a year or jump off of the building for $25, not on TV, just to get my name out there. I played football with the Falcons. I hung out at night a lot in Atlanta. I rubbed shoulders with a lot of the guys, whether it be the Steiners or DDP or Eric Bischoff. So by default, man, I was out seeing the guys and I rubbed shoulders with them. And, when I got done in the league and my accountant said I better get off my ass and go make some money, I looked at my options, and I never wanted to be anything other than a guy like you. I never wanted to be anything but a guy that, was successful in the NFL, that could retire from the NFL and, base his life upon what he's done in pads. And I was wasn't able to fulfill that opportunity, and I did it elsewhere. And so it was, it was a different deal. I came up at a great time. I mean, a number of people have tried to do it before me. Look at all the pro football players who tried to do it.
None of them seem to pan out, it seems like.
I was in the right place at the right time, and I had the right gimmick, and and MMA was coming to the forefront, and I was a huge fan, and I wanted to pattern myself after a D lineman who would eat your head at the drop of a coin, and a submission guy and a dude who could do a backflip, and I was 300 pounds at the same time. So I mean, I wanted to be just like this. Sorry about that.
Is that your house line?
Can't do that. That's cherry golf. Anyway, dude, I'm doing my. You're on a hot spot here, man. I'm in a wine cellar. I had to pull out all my tricks.
That's awesome. I appreciate you, man. You stepped off that nice view you have in the beach to join us. People were all very very thankful for that. Now, was Eric Bischoff the guy when you were in WCW? Was he like the head exec or whatever?
Yeah, I picked up the phone and called Eric. I got an invitation I got an invite to go up to WWE, and I met Vince, and I met with the guys, and then I had met Bischoff a couple times before, but after I met Vince and the guys, I called Bischoff and I said, "Listen, man, they offered me this deal, and if you guys want to do something, then you better do it within 24 hours because I'm going north." And yeah, Eric was the guy the whole time.
How was he? How was his leadership skills different than old Vince McMahon's?
They came from two different planets. What's up, dude?
Look at the jersey.
Oh, what's up, buddy?
We weren't lying.
Look,
I love it, man. Yeah, the Aaron Rodgers jersey. You look good, buddy.
Thanks.
Yeah, man, I like it. Thanks.
You know who that is?
Middle linebacker.
Middle linebacker. See, look, I got a big fan,
Smart
dude.
kid.
And a fan.
Way out there in the West Coast, man. Appreciate it. That's awesome, buddy. I love you supporting the Packers.
Yep, this is Grayson's, my boy Grayson. Came playing football on the beach where it's like 85 today, but I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. It's like
Just
12
you guys-
degrees where I'm at.
So bummed you guys weren't in the Super Bowl, and
Not as bummed as he was.
I know, but it broke his heart. He was crying when you guys didn't make it, just so you know.
Oh, hey, believe me, it killed all of us. It's unbelievable the way it ends sometimes. This year was brutal for sure.
Did that 3 minutes seem like the longest 3 minutes of your life?
Yeah, it was almost like after it was over and they scored in overtime to beat us, it was like, what happened? We obviously knew what happened, but I think we were all in shock for a second. Like, this is unbelievable. How did this get away from us?
It's never happened to me, but it's kind of like getting knocked out and waking up and going, "What just hit me?"
Yeah, you're right. When you watch all those guys, you watch these fights in the UFC, and a guy gets knocked out, and then the ref ends it, and he gets up and he's like starts pushing the ref. Like, no, and they have no idea. That's almost like what it was. Yeah, for real.
So go for it, man. It's in your court. I feel like it's my podcast, and I'm asking you questions.
You're good. That's the best part about it, man. We're just talking, but I hate to sit here and badger you with wrestling questions that you get from other people's. But I mean, I would say when I grew up, I watched a little bit of wrestling. I think I've been to one live event, and it was in Dayton, Ohio, at the Nutter Center, and it was when Stone Cold was rolling around. He was, man, that might have been, I was probably 15. I'm 31 now. So 16 years ago, you'd probably been right in your prime then. What year would that have been? When did you get out? You didn't get out till 2005, right?
I went to Georgia. I can't do any math. You know that.
Yeah, I mean, I probably went right around 99, 2000, I think, was when I was at the Nutter Center, and it was WWE, which you were still WCW at the time, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And yeah, it was a live event was fun to go to. I didn't really grow up like a big fan. I didn't watch a whole lot on TV, but I would say the most surprising thing was watching the fans react to the different guys coming out. And you guys have baby faces and heels. I know all that. I don't know all the really underground wrestling jargon that those guys know. But how rabid these dudes were in the stands blew me away. When either the guy they loved or the guy they hated came out.
It's kind of an analogy is kind of like your fans, kind of like Green Bay fans, kind of like original six fans in hockey. I mean, they take things very personal, and usually their opinions are passed down through generations. It's a weird deal, man. They're obsessed, and it's Middle America. I mean, what better way to get out to kids like this than to be the eternal good guy, on wrestling every Monday night, unless you're, AJ Hawk every Monday night, playing on Monday Night Football.
No one plays on every Monday night like you guys did.
Bill Goldberg,
Did they ever try to get you to turn heel?
Yeah, dude, they did. That's an interesting story. They had me turn heel. I can't remember what the city was, but I know the next day was in Baltimore, and I'm I understand. One of the big shortcomings of me in my wrestling career is that I didn't ever really embrace the heel turn, and how that in the business is such a hook for people, and it catches people off guard, and it's a surprise, and it garners a bunch of viewership. I get that, but to me, it was much more important to be the good guy for these guys. So, the night that they asked me to turn heel, I had a Make-A-Wish girl in there, and she was cancer survivor, and she was going through chemo actively right then. And the guy that they wanted me to turn heel on was Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and he had just gotten over cancer, right? And so I had to go out and beat this dude up. Yet I had to come in the back and, hang out with this girl. And so whether there's one person or 50 people that believe it's real and they take it personally, it affects me emotionally. And, hey, I'm a big tough guy, and I'll put my head through anything or anybody. I don't care. But when it comes to dealing with kids and their feelings and their heart, man, it's a tough deal for me. So I went out there and I did my thing, and I did it reluctantly, and I came back and she was in absolute tears. And the next night we were in Baltimore, and I told them to shove that bad guy off their ass. I wasn't going to do it anymore, because at the end of the day, that was a great word to say in front of him. At the end of the day, man, I mean, what the kids think of me is much more important than the amount of viewers that I can garner because of a heel turn. So I fell short as a professional wrestler in that category, but I feel like as a human being, I stayed true to what matters to me.
Wasn't that a big reason why you got out of wrestling? Because you just didn't want to. I've read or seen an interview where you said you didn't want to be a hypocrite and portray something you weren't.
I remember one night specifically, I was at WWE, and I go out and I do this match, and I'm the champion, and I come back, and I'm walking up the aisle, and there's a kid about his age. What are you, 3? No. There's a kid about his age, and he wanted to touch the belt, and I grabbed him, and I picked him up, and I gave him the belt, and then I walked in the back, and the next guy coming up, I love the guy to death, and it wasn't his deal, but his gimmick was the superhero in training, right? And so if you put those words on top of each other and you italicize the first letter in each word, what does it spell?
Yep. Shit.
Okay? So that coupled with guys going out like they're pulling girls' hair and they're punching them, and I'm not a fan, dude. Whether it's fictitious, predetermined, whatever, I'm just not a fan. So at the end of the day, if my legacy is based upon the fact that I chickened out, I wouldn't be a bad guy, and that I thought too much of myself to go out there and not be a part, or to leave and not be a part of something that I didn't appreciate, so be it.
We're bowing out, man. It's great to be here and see you, and congratulations on what you've done. I mean, it's what both of us wanted to do in our lifetime, and man, that's
you're our idol, AJ.
This guy loves it. So you ever come to Southern California, man, come visit.
Believe me, we would love to get out there. I will have to look you guys up now that we've made this connection for sure. But yeah, great to see you guys, and thanks for the support of the Packers. We love it.
The man here, and the rest of the folks here. Take care.
Hey, you too. Your restaurant looks awesome.
Thanks.
The restaurant, the wine cellar. 4x4, dude.
It is awesome.
Well, I can see that. I can see the sun coming in off the ocean. That's all I can see. I love it.
Yeah. Take care, man.
Hey, you too.
I figured it was a different background for you.
That's perfect. It doesn't matter. Yeah, whatever you want. I love it, man. We've had a multiple different ones. That's cool. When you said that, man. So, what? How would you describe Vince McMahon? Would be a question that I'm sure you've got asked. He is such a things I've seen on TV are just amazing to me.
Circus.
He's like what?
He's like the guy that runs the circus.
Does he call all the shots? I mean, still to this day.
I don't know, because I've been removed from it for 10 years, and Hunter, Paul Levesque, he's married into the family, and he's, I don't know what his role actually is, and at the end of the day, it's probably all fictitious anyway. Nobody knows but them. Working for Vince is a totally different deal. I get it. He's very successful. It's just kind of it's like being in a fraternity or being on the football team. Being in a fraternity was like being in the WWE. Playing on a football team was like being at WCW for a period of time. So you see the difference when you're in college and how you view things. That's how I kind of view that.
Okay. And how was Bischoff and Vince did they ever work together? Were they connected at any time?
Yeah, I think so. When man, this shows my ignorance when it comes to wrestling. But yeah, after WCW folded, Bischoff went to work for Vince.
And with WCW, you guys were killing it. So like you said, Monday Night Football had to change its time slot for you. How did Ted Turner let Vince buy him out, or what? He just gave him an offer he couldn't turn down?
From what I heard, Ted Turner was out of the country, and AOL and Time Warner merged, and they did everything they could do with Ted out of the picture to get WCW sold and to get it, not to be part of their package anymore. They didn't want to have anything to do with it. Okay. Ted, it's his baby.
Yeah, and it was so successful because you guys were. I mean, I'm sure your numbers were bigger than WWF at the time. I think they were, but now it's like I don't think anyone could. There's no way any other network could come out and even touch WWE's numbers, could they?
No, I mean, if TNA had the right people running the company and they had a plethora of talent, and I think if they were forward-thinking enough to go out there and scout all the dudes who get cut from the football teams, and come up with some absolute flipping monsters with some character and there's some dude, there's some guys that are off their rocker that would make great wrestlers. I think it could be done, but in the landscape that we have right now, it's not possible. Obviously, Viacom, it could have. They just need the right people running it. They need the right philosophy. At the end of the day, when we were going head to head with WWE, and Bischoff would have these meetings, and he'd go, well, these guys are doing this, and then I think to myself, you know what? Who gives a damn what anybody else is doing? It's like you guys in a game plan, okay? Who cares what the other team's doing? At the end of the day, if you go out and perform your job to the best of your ability, nobody can touch you. So
yeah, it's not about them, and I think the great coaches all do that. It's not about what the other team does; it's about what we do. It's not what they do doesn't mean anything to us. And I think all the great coaches I've had, including Mike McCarthy, say that same thing. We don't care what the other team does, really.
Perfect.
And that's like you guys.
I have that opinion too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, the WCW days, man, with you, I hate to feel bad asking all these wrestling questions, but obviously I have them. I'm not the thing is, I guarantee you, people that are watching this that are like diehard, the diehard wrestlers, like the guy. I'm sure you've probably seen the clip of the dude that's crying. It's still real to me, damn it. The guy in the high school gym or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Those guys are just so mad at my ignorant questions I'm asking you about. If guys work together. I don't know any of the inside stuff because I followed it when I was 15 for a little bit. But when I see, how about when Vince got all juiced up and came in the ring and wrestled? Were you there at the time, or were you already gone?
No, I wasn't there, man.
Vince takes his suit off and he's just jacked at like 55 or 60, however old he was.
That's when they got in that trouble, with the government and the juice and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I wasn't there at that time, man. I mean, I could just look at it as an observer like you and go, what are you thinking, man? But, To each his own, dude. I don't know. At the end of the day, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, do I really want to go out like that? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you said something earlier about Triple H. What's going on with you and him? You guys had some long-standing beef, don't you?
Well, it all started, years ago, man. He was represented by my manager, and he was actually with him before I was. And he and Scott Hall and Kevin Nash are real good friends. They've been friends for a long time. They were friends up at the WWF before I even knew Kevin. And they were together before I was hanging out with Kevin. And I don't know, man. I mean, he's just an arrogant SOB to begin with. Mm-hmm. And I was hurt. I put my arm through a limousine window.
I've seen it. Everyone's seen it. You broke like 9 windows in this limo, and then kept going, and then you started kicking it, and you could see when your arm started to was bleeding. You blasted the hood, and there's just blood splattered all over the hood. It was a great move.
Dude, it was the highest rated TV segment on cable at the time. It was awesome. I loved it. I didn't plan it by any stretch, but I was going after Scott Hall, and I took it upon myself to do something pretty ignorant in the process of going after him and putting on a good live television show. But I got hurt there, and so I was out for a number of months. And I remember I was out here in California, and I was sitting on my balcony, and somebody asked me a question. They said, well, what do you think about what Triple H said about you sandbagging your injury? And I'm like, dude, I got 199 stitches in my freaking arm. You want to talk sandbagging, first of all. Second of all, let's talk about a guy who I don't even have the opportunity to get my hands on, okay? So why would you talk about somebody in another federation when you have no chance of actually interacting with the guy? And he got all his information from Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. And at the time, they can be gutter dwellers for sure at times. And so he took that information and then put it out, and I didn't take it kindly at all. And so, it's like a football game, man. I mean, if you're a tough guy, then strap it up. Let's go. Bull in the ring, whatever you want to do. I don't care. Let's go. Muay Thai, let's go. Put your gloves on. Let's get in the ring. But I never had the opportunity to do that with him because we were in different federations. Yet he had the gall to open his mouth. And so it'd been a year since that had happened, and I saw him at a toy conference when WCW was being represented by me in New York, and WWF at the time was being represented by he and Stephanie. And I was doing a bit, and all of a sudden I had an assistant. My assistant walks up and he goes, hey, dude, Triple H is here. And I stopped what I was saying, and I grabbed as many policemen as humanly possible, and I took them with me. I said, just please come with me because I'm going to need you. And we got about, 50 yards away from the guy. And, at the time, it wasn't just me and it wasn't just him. But, WCW had all these people over here, and Stephanie and Hunter had like 4 people in their line. And I said, listen, dude, do me a favor. If you ever open your mouth about somebody again, make sure that somebody doesn't have the ability to break your limb off and shove it up your ass. So that was my introduction to he and Stephanie.
What year was that?
I can't remember. I was still at WCW. That was obviously years before I got to WWE. So what are they going to do to me when I get up there? I mean, let's be logical.
And at that point, if he was with Stephanie, he was probably already knew. He was already pining to be the second in charge, wasn't he, right behind Vince? Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I mean, because I know that's what he seems like. He's the heir to the throne right now, looking from the outside in. But the thing about, like, when even listening to you tell that story, I would imagine wrestling fans and people, we don't know if it's an angle you guys are doing. We don't know if that's real or fake. Did people think that was like you guys were setting something up?
No, put it this way. Everything and anything that I've ever done online or on video or on TV, short of the $100,000 challenge to Steve Austin, which WCW put me up to, it comes straight from my mouth and straight from my heart. I speak just, I don't want to fabricate. I don't get into that part of it. I mean, my character is me. So I'm going to answer questions straight from my heart. I don't care about an angle. I don't care about any of that. I've been far removed from the business for 10, 15 years. I'm not looking to get back in because of my hatred for Hunter or anything like that. So,
Are you going to get back in?
I don't see any time or reason why I should. But
What they offer you $1 million for one match at WrestleMania? You headline WrestleMania.
Well, I've said it before, man. I mean, the only reason why I do it is because of my son. My son's never seen me wrestle. He watches on YouTube, and he's 8 years old, and it'd be nice for me to, do my thing in front of him. Now, granted, look at me. I'm not like I used to be. I train Muay Thai 4 days a week, and I do things a lot differently than I did. Instead of benching 500 pounds, I'm doing 500 punches, stuff like that. But things change, man, but I could do it in a heartbeat. But is the situation right? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure though. Who knows? Yeah, we'll be watching. We'll be watching to see you come back. I know I'll turn the TV on again and watch wrestling. If we see Goldberg come out there and start just spearing people left and right, that'll be a monster event, man. So yeah, I encourage you to do it. That'd be awesome.
Well, put it this way, dude. If I do it, you'll know about it. Well, you'll be one of the first people knowing that I'm going to do it because you're going to be there.
I will. Oh, wherever it is, let me know, man. I would love to see it. Maybe I'll just stand in the crowd. I'll stand in the crowd by your little son dressed in the same exact gear that you have on, and your little Speedos and your boots and everything. I better get a spray tan.
Oh, God.
No, man. Yeah, it was fun. What are you, 48 now?
Yeah.
Jeez. I would love to see you drop your son off at school with, like, the other dads. How does that go?
Man. I do it all the time, and I pick him up.
I know, but, I mean, just saying, like, you, and then I always joke with my wife, like, if I don't know, if I just do something stupid or just act like a meathead, like, oh, you could have married a 135-pound accountant if you wanted, but you didn't get that guy, So I would love to see you, like, just big-ass Goldberg pulling up, and I know you're into cars, too, probably some sweet old muscle car, dropping your son off.
With my big truck one day, and then the Cobra the next day, and then my wife's old Trans Am one day. I mean, hey, I gotta be Goldberg, but at the end of the day, I'm just dad, man.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, wanting your son to see you do your thing. Yeah, it's probably one thing. I'm sure it's really cool for him to be able to, put on YouTube and see, but to actually see it in person. I mean, I'm not your son, and I would love to see it in person. I never got to see you wrestle in person, but I have 2 young kids too, and I feel the same way. Like, man, I just need to find a way to play long. My daughter's 4, and she gets it. Like, she knows. We drive by Lambeau, and she's like, Dad, that's where you work. Dad, can I go to the game this weekend? She's asking to go. And my son's 2, and he just gets super pumped. He's not exactly sure what's happening, but he wants to watch. My wife has a cool, like, I did like a PSA that they kind of, on something, I was reading something for domestic violence or whatever, and they played it on the Jumbotron at the stadium, and my kids were at one of the games and saw it, and it was like the greatest moment of their life, my wife said.
It's different stages, man. I mean, obviously when you're in college and you're a kid, you're exploring what college has to offer. You got that point, and then you get in the league, and you're, unless you're with your girlfriend that you were with in college, I mean, you explore that period of time. And then, like for me, I couldn't wait to get married and have a family because I'd done so many things beforehand. I really wanted to get to that point, and having your son, being proud of what you do or what you've done and have your son experience it is just about, I mean, I don't think there's anything cooler in the world. I mean, really,
No way, yeah. Anyone that has kids would understand that for sure. And like you said, you're your dad, and you're the guy that makes them this. You probably make them like 14 egg whites for breakfast and a protein shake. You guys cheers your protein shakes together. That's right, Gage. 42 grams of protein in this puppy.
We cheer the milk. I'll do my protein shake, and he does milk. Not old enough. I don't know.
I got you. Maybe 3 more years, we'll start dumping some protein in there. I know. But yeah, it's the same. Yeah, man, it's like there's a weird thing with your kids that, yeah, I'm sure people that don't have kids get annoyed hearing other people talk about it, but I'm 100%. I don't care. I don't care if people get sick of hearing me talk about it. I talk about my kids on here a lot, man.
You have a podcast, brother. You can be yourself, and you can talk about what you want to talk about, and the people that that tune in and can't enlighten themselves as to, you and the person that you are and your likes, then they can kiss off.
Exactly. That's why this is the great, and that's why I don't have there's no boss. You just do whatever you want, and so that's what's cool. You were nice enough. I reached out to you, and you said, of course, yeah, I'd come on for sure, man. And who would ever thought I get to talk to Goldberg? I've been watching you forever, and I told you when I was on your podcast, anyone I told that I was talking to you, like, it didn't matter their age, all the way down to probably 15 years old and 70-year-olds. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I got to talk to Goldberg Thursday night for my podcast. They're like, wait, Goldberg the wrestler? I was like, yes. And everyone knows you played football as well. They're like, you got to be kidding me, man. Let me come over. I was like, no. You can see it when we post it online.
That's a huge honor, especially coming from you, man. See all these people walking behind me?
Oh, yeah. I see him. It's good.
Is this guy doing inside of the wine cellar?
Yeah, like, what's happening? Does this guy have a full meal of food in there? We're recording, by the way. If anyone, Todd, my buddy, will splice it in, but both had to take a little piss break. It's good, Goldberg. You needed. You're a healthy man. You're hydrated. You're 48, and you still seem you're regular. So good for you, man.
I'm regular. I'm regular. That's a half a pot of coffee I drink every morning.
That's good. Yeah, hey, I'm with you. I agree. I have no problem with that. I do the exact same thing. But
wait till you get my age, dude.
How do you feel? Like, I like to ask people that because I'm 31 now, which obviously is very old for NFL age too. That's like old, but I feel good. But I always like to ask guys that played, like, when you hit 40, did anything change? Like, was there ever a time when everything like just started to hurt a little bit more?
I don't know if there was no. I mean, I'm a different deal because I got out of football and went right into wrestling. So the pain continued with me, but my deal is that no matter how old you are, as long as you stay active and stay moving, you got the blood flowing through your system, and you're not going to atrophy. The problem that you have is when you get older, when you hurt yourself. Like I do Muay Thai, like I said, 3-4 days a week, and I hit a dude with the left hook, and I tore my bicep, and I tore part of my delt, and through all the painful experiences I've had with injuries, I don't man, the older you get, the more you want to do nothing. Okay, the less you want to go into your gym and rehab. Because I've reconstructed this shoulder, so I know the shoulder rehab. Dr. Andrews did it in '85. I know every single thing that I got to go through for the 6 weeks to get it back. Okay, when the older you are, the less you want to do that. But I've found the older you are, the more you do that, the better you feel. That's why I train as often as I do, man. I got private lessons 3 days a week in Muay Thai. I've done it for a year. And then I lift. I got a gym at the house. I train every night. And so if I don't do that, both mentally and physically, I feel horrible. If I don't do it, if I do it, I still hurt, but I still feel good, man. I still feel all right. So it's totally dependent upon how much activity you partake in the older you get.
My dad told me that a long time ago and that's like a thing about being from Ohio. I remember my grandpa, he died like 12 years ago. My dad would say, it's like every winter it was like he hibernated for like 6 months because it was so cold. He wouldn't go outside. He wouldn't be active. And my dad, I was so young. For some reason, I remember him telling me, like, you got to stay moving. That's why all these old people move to Florida and California or at least go there for the winter because you go down there and you see them walking every day out on the beach, even if you just get out of the house. But, like, it's true. My grandpa just sat in his lazy boy chair, and he wasn't big or anything. He was a skinny dude, but he just didn't move. And, I think things just catch up with you when you're not active anymore.
Things hurt more when you don't have blood flowing through your system, man. I mean, honestly, it's just like if you were to go out and get, any of the injuries you've had, as opposed to immediately getting in the training room and rehabbing them, just leaving them be and not doing anything about it. That feeling you get, the weakness and the pain, that's the same exact feeling. You just multiply it the older you get.
Yeah, I'm whatever. I'll figure it out. That's people that try to tell me that how well just you're gonna be hurting so bad. I'm like, well, I don't know any different. So whatever. You're an athlete. You wrestle. You're pro wrestling from pro football. Come on, you can't beat your body up any worse than that. And then you train Muay Thai. Like,
Yeah, but football is so much tougher on your body than wrestling was. Wrestling, there's different reasons for each of them. Wrestling's tough on your body because you have to do it so often. Football, obviously, you got 16 games unless you get in the playoffs, and you got X amount of games, and then you got practices to make. Nowadays, you guys, they don't even make you guys practice with pads on, for God's sakes. I mean,
once a week, Goldberg would do.
But it's just it's a totally different deal. I mean, hey, when that 18 seconds, that average play, when you're playing defense and you got 5-6 guys, trying to rip your head off, whether it be a center, a tackle, a tight end, or a running back, cutting your knees. You got guys coming after you. In wrestling, it's physically demanding and it's tough because of the amount of days, but you know everything that's going to happen. Everything's predetermined, so you know what's going to be tough. When I picked up the Giant and jackhammered him, though it was predetermined, it didn't make him any lighter. So it's all relative, man. It's all relative.
Hi.
Kirsten Levine here from Waukesha.
Oh, okay. Hello.
God.
Stick your head in.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you? Waukesha, Wisconsin, huh?
People on the podcast
seriously.
today.
I'm so excited.
How many people from Wisconsin and Southern California are huge Pack fans?
I grew up there.
You got out, didn't you? You needed some warm weather.
I did. Wait, doesn't need to
Yes, he does. Yes.
Hear everything you say. What's
how
up?
are you?
How are you?
Hey. Our boys are
Birthday
outside,
party,
Yeah, that's awesome. And then you just step into a wine cellar and do a podcast quick. That's normal.
In the wine cellar.
That's awesome, man.
But obviously a huge Packer fan that was going to the Super Bowl and then ended up in Cabo instead.
I was sad. I've never been so depressed. Every loss is, been tough, but this one for like 3 days. I was just really sad.
Oh yeah, believe me, everyone. I think that hit everybody hard. Obviously, the players as well. I know.
Oh, well, I can only imagine. Shit, not.
This is live on FM radio. They might beep you.
Sorry.
It's all good.
I'm joking.
Anybody listens to my podcast?
I don't have the capabilities to do anything live. Come on. No, I would never do anything on FM terrestrial radio anyway.
No.
No doubt.
So what are you guys just talking about?
We're
You're
just
like
talking
talking
about
like
He's
that.
about birthday party.
He did my podcast the other day, and now I'm doing his.
Podcast is a live broadcast of talking.
Radio on the internet. That's basically what it is.
Like, what are these things?
No one
No
yet.
one
No one now because we're recording.
You're recording,
Oh,
so
got it,
you're live.
got
You're
it.
not live, but you're on it.
Right.
Say,
Cut.
Oh, no, that's a good thing. There's no cuts. You just go.
Actually, I have to tell you a story. I mean, if you want me to.
very quickly.
Yeah.
Quick story. Kirsten actually is the reason that you all lost. She came home. I was hanging out with her husband, my good friend Dr. David Levine, and she came home from being at a sports bar watching the game, and it was like, I don't know, mid fourth quarter, and she said, "I'm going to the Super Bowl," and so David said, "Well, that's
That
great.
was the
We're going to the Super Bowl." She goes, "No, you're not going. I'm going." And so he was so bummed, because they had canceled the trip to go to Mexico and go to the Super Bowl, and she totally jinxed you. Just so you know, that's why you all lost.
Don't feel bad. I think a lot of people did that. So it's not just you jinxing us.
Sad.
It was us.
I had secured a house and tickets.
But you weren't as sad as him.
Yeah.
No.
Boy.
Let you know that I share your grief.
Well, I
In your heart.
appreciate it. As long as you enjoy the wins, then we're okay with that.
This has been a pretty
And I
good
love you.
podcast
Yeah,
so far.
man. Look at you. I love it.
And that's how much? Here, the Mai Tai.
Southern
here,
California.
Southern California is what we represent.
Yeah, hey, believe me, all the Ohio and Wisconsin people are looking at that, trying to move out west now. I promise you that much.
Well, you guys would be very pissed if I showed you the sunset right now.
It was
Here in
87 degrees today.
In Newport Beach. Here in Newport Beach.
That's awesome, man. in Newport Beach. Yeah. It's like 10 degrees here, so we're good.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
Live vicariously through the sky.
Yeah, it's all right. I can.
Thank you for
Hey.
your service to my
Thank you.
state.
Thank you for your support.
Hey,
Another Packer fan right here in San Diego.
You're full of them out there, man. That's good. They're smart. They get out to that warm weather.
Yeah,
no doubt.
No comment.
No comment. Goldberg, you were not to segue out of all your fans that come see you. When you said how it hurts on your body and all that, and you said something about when they got all busted with the whole steroid allegation thing. Did you see any of that when you were in? Like, what was the culture like? Because I know Hulk Hogan's whole image, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, all that, and then he comes out and admits to juicing, at least when he was deposed, I guess he did. What was that culture like when you were there? Because it seems like that was the heart of it.
Wants me to show you the sunset, which I will.
Yeah, you can do it.
First off, I got to show you the sunset.
Yeah, do it.
Come with me, ladies and gentlemen.
This is awesome. You're the restaurant.
You have no idea, dude.
Is this a computer? Are you on your laptop?
Yeah, we're still doing it.
That's crazy, man.
How's that for you?
I'm jealous.
God, now I can't hear you. Hold on a second.
For people that don't know, he just carried
That
us
was
to the restaurant.
Hey, do you think that was a strategic time for me to elude your question?
That's a genius move by you if you were.
At the end of the day, dude, I wasn't at the WWE when that was going on. What people do in their own time is up to them. I didn't see anybody doing their stuff, but I can only imagine that it was fairly rampant during my time there, whether it be baseball, football, basketball, or wrestling. It was a different time, you know.
Did they test you guys?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Who sets the testing up? Is that like WCW? Their head honchos test you?
Man, I don't know exactly. Like I don't know if they had a special division. I just got the invitation to give them some of my urine, and I obliged.
Yeah, I always wondered when they found, like, when the whole Hulk Hogan deal was going on and whatever. I assumed they didn't test. I was like, why are they testing professional wrestlers? They're not. It's not exactly real. It's scripted. You know, it's entertainment now. They call it, and I was just surprised that they even tested it at all.
Yeah, I don't know if the WWF or the WWE tested prior to when I was in the business. I can only tell you that when I was at the WCW, they tested us. And so for me, it was just like being in the NFL. Nothing's changed. Okay, you're going to test me? Fine. I didn't really question it because it wasn't a really competitive deal. Maybe it was an insurance thing or a morality thing, but
Well, I think the Chris Benoit situation changed
What's that?
it all. That bit when the whole Benoit when he murdered his family and committed suicide.
See, the issue is this, and everybody wants to put the blame on steroids. What they need to do is open their eyes and put the blame on prescription drugs. That's what they need to do, because at the end of the day, that's probably something that's much easier to get a hold of. That's probably something that's much easier to get addicted to. And probably something that many more people have an issue with than the steroid problem. So every time when people want to pin something on steroids, they need to look beyond it a little bit and understand, what's really going on here, man. Because I got to tell you, there have been issues with prescription drugs, whether it be football, basketball, whatever it is, throughout the years, and it's something that has been brought to the forefront many times, and I think that's a bigger issue and a bigger problem, and it caters to the masses much more so than the steroid issue.
I agree with you, man. It's like the public perception when I don't know the exact year when Benoit did that, what a tragedy, and killed his family and then killed himself, and they say, oh, this juiced up steroid guy. I'm like, man, that's not like, the guy obviously had tons of other issues, and I always say I think things like that it turns a guy that's on steroids, and I don't know many guys personally that even have been affected by them or even done them, but I think it turns, like I've always said, like, it doesn't turn like a normal guy into some crazy hooligan. I was like, if you're a dickhead, it might make you a little bit more of a dickhead, you know. And I think it turned a crazy guy into a little more crazier than he was. And like you said, if you had a lot of prescription pill problems, oh, it's scary there.
Dude, whether it's somebody's mom, whether it's a housewife, whether it's a football player, a baseball player, a wrestler. I mean, prescription pills, prescription drugs are so easy to get. All you got to do, my arm hurts, you know. I mean, I mean, I was very lucky because my father was an obstetrician gynecologist. When I grew up, he had Placidils and all kind of stuff, you know, at the house. And I never had the desire or the need or anything else to try that stuff and really be affected by it. I mean, when I was at Georgia playing in college, I mean, he used to send me samples of Motrin and Naprosyn, you know, back in the day. And that was the only pills that I loved taking because they were anti-inflammatories and I could get them free from my dad and it would help my pain, you know, my inflammation. But I've seen some really strange things in my years, man, with these prescription drugs. And if you ask me, I've seen it all, you know, from this to that. And that's the biggest problem that we have.
I say it all the time. And you live, you know, in a nice area out in California, and you mentioned housewives. Like, I say that a lot. I think you see like these, I watch it when I drop my kids off to they go to a half day, a couple days a week to like a preschool, and you see these. Let me know if you see any wives like this out there. Me and my wife will be dropping them off, and you'll see like blonde lady in like a white Range Rover get out to drop her kids off, super rushed, like she's in a big hurry, wearing like her Lululemon yoga gear, drop the kids off, and then just can't wait. You know, got to go work out with her trainer, and then go have a boozy lunch with her friends, and then hopefully someone else picks up the kids and probably popping some pills throughout the day, and then they talk about taking Valium, and they like joke about these pills. I'm like, that you guys don't want to mess around with that stuff, man. And I feel like then your kids start stealing. I don't know. It just scares me. And I live in a nice area. I haven't seen anything firsthand like that, but I know it's all around me.
I mean, I can guarantee you it does not discriminate, whether it's socially or economically. It does not discriminate. Anybody who can get their hands on them, it's one of the biggest problems there is. I mean, it's much more prevalent than I think liquor now, and it's something that, you know, it's not something that people look to immediately and say, well, that's what happened. Well, that's an issue. I mean, it's people don't understand the danger of it.
Well, they don't think they're doing drugs. I think that's what the crazy thing is. They think they're just taking pills or whatever. And to tell you a real scary thing, your son's 9. What they've been telling me out here is these high school kids are getting hooked on heroin. And I was like, heroin? What are you kidding me? And I guess you can smoke heroin. So these kids will get hooked on like pills, whatever kind of painkillers, and then I guess the pills become harder to find, and they're really expensive too to get them on the black market supposedly. And so they turn to heroin because I guess it's dirt cheap and they can smoke it. And these like high school kids, like good kids in a nice area, are smoking heroin at like 16, and that's like that's happening right now.
That destroys me, dude. That makes me want to go to school every day with my son and be with him every single second of the day. And, you know, that's the world we live in, unfortunately. It's tough, man. It's tough. But, you know, you can only do so much as a parent. And, you know, you try to protect them as much as possible. And then, you know, you hope and pray that you find out who hooked them up with it and whose parents hooked them up with it. And then you beat the living shit out of them.
Yes, that's right. You show up in your trunks and your boots, and you just start. Actually, you show up to their house with the like your entrance, wherever it was, the entrance when you had like 10 cops, the fully dressed cops around, and you like ran, you were so at your pace to the ring. Where was that?
I was everywhere.
Yeah, you did it like every time. I feel, or not every time, but a lot. And that was my favorite. Like they show all these cops standing outside your dressing room, and all of a sudden you just open the door, crazy, and you just come at this crazy, frantic pace, and these little chunky security guards are trying to keep up and stay in front of you, and you're like elbowing them out of the way a little bit. That's my favorite thing. But we're gonna need to recreate that to the front door of one of these parents if they try to get your kids some stuff.
Oh, don't think I won't. Believe me, dude. There'll be that playing itself over and over and over if it has to be.
We'll even play your. If you'll just let me know, I'll carry a boombox playing your walkout music.
Definitely.
It'll be beautiful, man. That's a good setup. So let me know. Let me know if anyone's messing with Gage, and I'll let you know. I'm gonna have to buy you a first-class ticket if someone's trying to mess with my kids.
You'll be the second one to know.
Thanks, man. Well, I'm gonna start to wrap this thing up, man. You've taken a lot of time out of your awesome day you got going on out there for your brother's birthday. We got to meet a couple of different people. Some Packers fans stepped in the room, so it's awesome. Oh, we love it. That's why I listen to other people's podcasts, because just they do whatever they want, man. Like people's wives walk in, their kids walk in, get on the mic. Who cares? If you don't like it, turn it off. That's the thing. I'm talking to the great Goldberg, but what I just want to say, like, let people know what you're doing now, or what your future plans may be, professionally, other than your podcast. And I know you host. I've seen you host many TV shows. A lot of them revolve around cars. You seem like to be a huge car guy.
I'm trying to get back into the car world as far as hosting wise, man. But the most interesting thing lately is this fight stuff. This Muay Thai training that I'm doing.
You're gonna fight in Glory? Is that right?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm actually considering it.
Oh, please do. Did you know who Joe Schilling is?
Yeah, I know Joe.
Joe's from he's from my hometown. He's been in California for a long time, but I've been texting Joe. He just won a fight a couple days ago and just killed the dude. It was awesome.
It was gnarly, dude. I'm a big fan. I went and saw Joe at Bellator here in San Diego when he beat Melvin Manhoef, and that was the only reason why I went to the fights. Schilling's awesome. He's a strict Muay Thai guy. Middle America dude, man. Just goes out, works his butt off. And, he's got great technique. I'm a big fan of his for sure. But, dude, I'm 48, but I don't care, man. I need to be challenged. It's not like I like getting punched in the face or kicked in the head, but there's something about it that makes you feel alive, dude. It's like banging my head against that door when I used to open it up and follow the cops out. You got to have something like that, man. You really do. Especially when I'm went from number 1 to number 63 on the totem pole. Like I'm behind the goat and the miniature horse at my house. So, you got to just they'd say Stella gets her groove back. Well, Goldberg's got to get his groove back, man. I need to crush somebody.
So would you fight, like, if you were going to go fight in Glory, would that be a kickboxing match or what? So
Muay Thai, absolutely.
Okay, so it'd be Muay Thai. So you'd be just dropping elbows on this dude, which is just scary to think about. Who would be in your? You obviously got to fight heavyweight, right? Who would be in your category to fight? Who was even out there that would fight you?
I don't think anybody that's my age would ever fight. Period.
What about Triple H? Let's get him to tap in.
Triple H, oh man, I'd destroy him in 3 shots, dude. One or two combinations, and he'd be crying back to mama, for sure. See that, and that's the difference between what they do and what I do. I like to think that I'm the guy, yeah. But I don't know who I'd fight. I have no idea, man. It'd have to be somebody up in age, and it had to be somebody with not very much experience. But I want to do an exhibition. I want to do something, man. There's no reason to put all this training, to just throw it away, man. And it'd be cool for people to see Goldberg be able to kick somebody in the head.
I think I'd be your number 1 fan. I guarantee you that much. Let me dress as a cop and lead you out. Can we recreate that? If you're fight for Glory or any other organization, just let me.
I get back in the ring, or whether I go fight Muay Thai at Glory, or whether I go to Bellator, whatever I do, you have no idea that one of the first phone calls is going to be to you to lead me out. Whatever it is, never believe me, it's going to be to you.
I can't wait. I'm going to start practicing already. We'll get the nice the door ready for you to headbutt on the way out. Just don't knock yourself out on the way to a real fight instead of a wrestling match.
It's all good. I'm used to that.
Yeah, we know. I can tell. I have your head. I tell my little son's too, and he headbutts me all the time, and it hurts. Like it hurts me, and he laughs. And I was like, I tell my wife, I'm like, Laura, my nose is like granite. Like my nose can't be broken anymore. It can't like have any more growth to this big bump on it, and my forehead both hard. That's like why. It's one reason I'm still in the league. And this dude,
That's what I miss. I miss that cut right here, dude. Cut that all the D linemen or the linebackers get. I miss it. I've got a permanent scar here. I don't think you can see it, but man, I miss that, dude. I miss it.
you see, so that need for physicality never really has went away with you, has it?
No.
Does it go away with other guys though? Like I'm sure you hang out with some guys that played football or combat sports. Do they want to be as physical as you?
It's all relative, man. I mean, it's all how they view themselves. It's all the injuries they've obtained. It's all the age there. I mean, it's all relative, man. I mean, I'm totally different than. I mean, I don't know many people who are like me, dude. I mean, I'm pretty stupid in that I go in and I train really, really hard, and I'm my own worst enemy. I'm my own worst critic. I like to be the best at whatever I do. The great thing about martial arts is you could never know everything, and so me calling in this Muay Thai school, I want to learn as much as I can, man. And like I said, if I have the ability to do fairly well as a 48-year-old learning as much as he can, then why not put it on display and make a couple bucks out of it, you know?
So would you go to Bellator? Would you do a full, MMA fight, not just like a Muay Thai, like where you can grapple, go to the ground and everything?
Yeah, I won't be doing any MMA by any stretch of the imagination because I don't like being on the ground rolling with guys because that just doesn't sound like the coolest thing to do, especially when you have a wife that's as beautiful as this right here.
Oh, yes. She showed up.
Honey, that's AJ.
Hi, AJ.
Hi, how are you doing?
Might as well meet my wife.
Thanks for letting your husband stop by here. I'm just finishing up and I'll let you have him back.
No, keep them. We're fine. We got lots of wine.
Yeah,
We're in a wine
she
vault.
could care less. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, I just want to do stand-up stuff. I like punching and kicking and kneeing guys and elbowing them. And if something were to happen to where I'd be on the air doing something, that's what it would be for sure.
Did you ever go watch that stuff? I don't think they do it anymore, the Tough Man contest.
I saw that stuff all the time, dude. I saw everything. I saw the first 7 UFCs. I did it all, man. I mean, I've been a fan for a very, very long time. I mean, I love combat sports. I mean, I'm not the biggest UFC fan and the MMA fan right now because I don't like everybody kind of looks the same. That's why I like Glory and I like stand-up kickboxing and Muay Thai is because at any time somebody could drop the hammer on the other dude and they could be lights out and there's no, kissing on the ground stuff.
Yeah, I used to go to the Hera Arena in Dayton, Ohio, and watch the Tough Man contest, and that was amazing, man. Some dudes would have the guys that are winning it or have like 6 fights where they just get up and just put boxing gloves on and just start swinging, and then they would tire out after 30 seconds.
Freaking Budweiser's in between the fights.
For real, they honestly were, and it was so awesome, man. You talk about a crowd. Talk about a crowd that's going to support some guys. They were all betting on their guy that they picked, and if the guy, what a beautiful atmosphere that was. I wish they would bring that back. I don't think they do it anymore.
That and the midget tossing.
Well, they probably still do that at bachelor parties and stuff.
It's not politically correct anymore.
Not at my bachelor party. We did not. We just drank. We drank tea and watched YouTube clips of Goldberg spearing people.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Well, man, I'm gonna let you roll, but I just want to tell you thank you so much, man. It's been a real honor and a pleasure. I've been a huge fan of yours forever, and I respect what you did in the ring, obviously, but how you hold yourself. I think you're true to yourself, and you show great character, and that's what's cool about you. And I think that's something you're authentic. I say it a lot on here. I like when people are authentic, regardless of how they are. It's just if they own it, it's cool to me. So that's how you are, and I love it, man. Thank you.
Well, to my comeback is that AJ, I've stated it before. Everybody knows all I ever want to do is be a pro football player that everybody could look up to. My dream was cut short. I was able to do it in something else. And for you, a guy that I look up to because of your toughness, because of your ability, because of the person you are on and off the field, to say that you're a fan of mine, that's the most ultimate compliment I could ever get. Because I value what you do, and I had my son look to you and look up to you and follow in your footsteps because I believe you're a good role model for those kids. So for you being a fan of mine, man, that's just one of the coolest things in the world, dude, because I look up to you very much so, and I wish you nothing but success. Anything I can ever do for you or with you, man, is a pleasure and an honor. And so,
Hey,
rock.
thank you very much, man. Just an honor to talk to you. It's been great. So I'll have to call you up here. We'll get an update from you on here again sometime in 6 months, a year, whatever happens, and then I'll be dusting off my my cop uniform to lead you out into the ring next time you take the ring for a fight. So it'll be fun.
Man, dude, and I can tell you that when I take it, you're gonna walk my ass to the ring, and I'm gonna crush somebody just for you.
I can't wait. It's on record now, so I know you're a man of your word. All right, man. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Be good, brother. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you for joining in. Please visit thehawkcast.com where you can discover the next guest, get a little more information about why this exists, watch past episodes, or link over to iTunes. And tell some friends too, so we can all hear more great stories together.